The first problem is unskippable cutscenes. Why would developers make their cutscenes unskippable? Maybe it's to load the game in the background, but if that's the case, they should do something like the Arkham games where you can skip once everything's done loading. Or maybe they don't want to let you skip because they worked hard on the narrative and they want you to see all the work they did, which is also invalid, because if a game like The Last of Us, which has one of the best stories in gaming, lets us skip cutscenes, then there's no reason why your game, the story and characters of which are about as interesting as a mole on a donkey's ass, shouldn't let us skip cutscenes too. The second problem is when games make you play as lame-ass side characters. Now, playing as a badass side character is great. Playing as Venom in Spider-Man 2 was a nice surprise. If you're gonna make me play as another character, make it an upgrade rather than a downgrade. I don't want to play as Mary Jane, or Baby Peter Parker, or Baby Cal Kestis, or Atreus, or Baby Nathan Drake, or Ashley. I do not want to play as these downgrades. If you really want to make me play as a side character, why not make it somebody we'd actually want to play as, like Venom, Darth Vader, or Thor? I get it, it's easier to program the game to make us play as a character with less abilities rather than more, but then don't make us play as a side character at all, because it only worsens the game. I didn't even beat Ragnarok because once I came to the part where you play as Atreus, I immediately deleted the game, because at that point it wasn't God of War anymore, it was a Disney movie. Third problem is when cutscenes occur too frequently. I want to play a game here, not watch a movie. Why is there a cutscene after every 2 minutes of gameplay? Just limit the cutscenes to pivotal moments that you need cinematic angles for, or close-ups on characters to deliver emotional weight. If you can weave a conversation into gameplay, then just do that instead of taking control away from the player and making them watch a sleep-inducing cutscene. Watch a cutscene, now walk for 20 seconds, and watch another boring cutscene where some program tells you some basic bullshit that could have instead been woven into a conversation that occurred during gameplay. Naughty Dog always does a splendid job of limiting the cutscenes to pivotal moments and weaving regular conversations and badass moments into gameplay. This has a massive impact on a person's enjoyment of game. The fourth problem is when games blue ball you. It's when you get a jetpack and can only use it during certain sections of the game, or when you have a special ability that takes 2 business days to recharge, or when you can only use your flight ability for 2.3 seconds at a time. This is no fun. I get it, you gotta balance the game and keep the player from becoming too overpowered, but instead of blue balling us by giving us only a tease of badass abilities, you can instead alter other aspects of the game so that we can have these badass abilities without being too overpowered. Do not use blue balling the player as a method of balancing the game. The fifth problem is when there's no sense of oomph or satisfying feedback in the combat. This is big. I don't want my bullets to feel like they're tickling the goon's testicles. I want them to feel like they're piercing through meat and bone. I need a sense of weight that's offered by a harmonious blend of audio and visual feedback. This sense of oomph can make or break a game's gameplay system. Your gameplay loop can be repetitive, but if the oomph is off the charts, it'll keep tickling our brain. I want my punches to feel weighty, like they're inflicting thunderous damage to goons' mugs. There needs to be a satisfying sense of feedback with not only the combat, but movement in general. I want to hear crispy sounds when I reload my pistol. I want to hear the pitter-patter of my feet hitting pavement. I want to hear crunchy sounds of bashing zombies' brains out. I want to see my footsteps deform snow. I want goons to flinch and splatter with blood when I shoot them. I want to land on the ground with a weighty thud. I do not want movement to feel weightless and unsatisfying. Problem number 6 is when there's auto-aim and clunky movement. So pretty much anything made by Rockstar. The amount of oomph here in Red Dead 2's gameplay is extraordinary, but the game practically plays itself due to the auto-aim, and turning it off makes it unplayable due to the clunky-ass controls. The game simply wasn't optimized to be played with free aim. The movement is also unresponsive and makes you want to yank the hairs off your scalp at times due to its unbelievably ass quality. If Rockstar continues this trend in GTA 6, then I might have to show up to their headquarters and give them a lesson in anti-ass controls 101. Problem number 7 is uninteresting story and characters. This is a big ass problem. There are really only a handful of games that excel in this metric, which is a damn shame because there's so much potential within this medium to tell moving stories. but most games have such rigid, generic writing without fleshed out characters that you just don't really give a damn or feel emotionally invested in anything happening on screen. Games with great stories and characters are so rare that when they do come around, it's like finding a brilliant diamond in an endless sea of shit. The last problem is when games have dumbass NPCs and are unpolished in general. It's when there's an insane amount of popping to the point where it feels like the game's being procedurally generated as you play, or when there are glitches galore, or when there are dumbass NPCs who repeat the same line over and over and don't even make an attempt to hide the fact that they're mere programs. All of these things make the game feel cheap, half-assed, and break the immersion. There are other problems too, like when there are no upgrades or sense of progression at all, like in the Uncharted games, or when a game spells out exactly what you need to do at every moment and plays out like an instruction manual. There are many more problems I can pull out of the chest of problemlums, but these are just some of the most prominent.